When you partner with Axon, you immediately gain access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. We carry all major brands and sizes of tires and wheels. We specialize in large diameter wheels for large equipment. We have one of the largest OEM replacement wheel inventories in North America. Known for extreme flotation setups, duals, and triples, we have wheels for all makes and models of tractors, sprayers, combines, and grain carts. If we don't have the wheel in stock, we'll custom build, sandblast, and paint in-house. There isn't a more vast inventory in North America dedicated to helping dealers move more iron. With facilities on the West Coast and in the heart of the Midwest, leverage our 230,000 square feet of indoor inventory to solve any problem a grower may have. Move more iron with Axon.
Moving iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Valley Transportation. I've got Parker Johnson on here, and Parker, it's good to have you back on, man.
Yeah, good to talk to you again, Casey.
So it is I don't want to say it's a 180-degree difference from what it was last year, but it's sure not the same. This time last year, when you are talking, you had a backlog of months worth of work lined up, and this year you're back to about a normal, what you would consider to be kind of a normal span of getting stuff shipped around. So I guess, Parker, talk a little bit about what's going on at Valley Transportation and what you're seeing in the world of freight right now.
Yeah, just trying to keep the trucks full and cruising down the road, and like you said, I mean, last year we had months out, and now everything's getting picked up so quickly, but it's good. I mean, the freight keeps coming in, and the trucks are still full, so
yep.
we go everywhere, and if we don't have something, we'll find something.
Yep. So when you're looking at you guys haul a lot of stuff out of all the factories, whether it's Deere stuff, Case, wherever it might be, you guys haul a lot of stuff out of there. I guess looking at the stuff coming out of the factory now, is it better, worse, about the same? Kind of what are you seeing as far as stuff getting pushed out to the dealerships?
It seems like it's trickling out pretty slow. Like every once in a while, you'll get a whole slug of stuff, and then you might go a few days and you don't see hardly anything.
Yeah.
The construction side is about the same, and but I mean, it's continuing to flow, which is better than last year when you couldn't even get appointments to get loaded because there were so many loads, and you'd sit in line for 2 days at one of the factories and just sit there twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah. So now I've noticed that a lot with the stuff that we're getting, is that it comes in, not onesie twosie stuff, but you'll get just a whole bunch of stuff at the same time. And that's the same story I'm getting from about everyone I talk to around the country. It's just kind of an all at once type of deal. Then you have a pretty good lull, and here comes another slug of stuff coming through.
Like we got a lot of stuff out of the tillage factories up in North Dakota for John Deere, and that stuff's been coming out, pretty regularly, which is nice. We got a lot of trucks up in the area, so it's always nice to get something back out of there.
Yeah. Yep. So when you're looking at, let's talk about fuel for a little bit here. So, I mean, fuel prices have come down significantly from what they were, this time last year. Still fairly expensive to ship stuff, and with fuel prices the way they are now, but they're not $5, $6, $7, $8 diesel fuel anymore. I guess as you're looking at what's going on with that, what's your reaction to some of that, and how has that freed you guys up a little bit to do some different things out there on the trucking front?
That's the thing with the fuel. That's the only thing that's come down in price at all. Drivers' wages are still high.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, everybody says, well, fuel's so cheap, why is it still expensive to haul it? Well, everything else is.
Yeah.
The driver pay, the equipment. I mean, everything is just insane. I mean, we actually started looking at some different things, and we're saving a pile of money just getting DEF delivered right to the office, which we always have, but we started renegotiating terms and getting a really big bulk price. And Brad sent an email out the other day, like here's one thing that we can do to save money, in times like these. And it was a pile. As long as the drivers, come through the yard, fill up, whether they're 3/4 full or not, just just fill up at the office, save us a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the freight prices, depending on where you're at, they're definitely, still pretty strong, coming out of the Midwest, because there's still a lot of freight. But you get out to California, Arizona, and stuff like that, I mean, the rates have dropped so bad. I mean, you just take what you can get because there's nothing else out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my next question. Go ahead.
Same with the van side. I mean, yeah, like we talked about the last time, van trailers back during the pandemic, they were making more money than a heavy, wide combine.
Yeah.
Hauling down the road, and now they're basically paying the driver's salary and fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that there's still the amount of people that are out there in the freight that you see coming up and down the highway, but it seems to be more dense in certain areas, like it's always been dense and like out here, like between on I-80, where I-80
Right.
and 76 meet going into Denver, it's always been a lot of people there. And then I-35 and I-80 and, 70 and I-35 and those, and, all that stuff. But it just seems like it's almost like it's concentrated into these areas, it just kind of feels like it's not as vast as it used to be, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing like it was last year at all.
So that was my next question I was going to talk to you a little bit about was, so where from an equipment standpoint, is there any one place in the country right now you're seeing more equipment come in or out of than in the past?
Coming out of, I mean, obviously we're all of, Iowa, where the factories
Sure.
are, North Dakota factories,
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't seem like it changes a lot. I mean, the volume might go different or, might go down, but the areas where the freight's going to and coming from is, always high. And, like Texas, I mean, you
Sure.
got construction equipment going to Texas. Well, Texas, they can do construction all year round.
Sure.
So, I mean, they're going through equipment. I mean, they're putting the hours on it and stuff like that. It's all in southern states and, ag stuff, mainly stays in the Midwest. But I mean, I got a lot of customers out on the East Coast too, it's just, I think everything's the same. It's just, less product.
Yeah. What also seems like, kind of to your point with the construction thing, when you look at states like Florida and Texas, North and South Carolina for that, in those areas where you're seeing some really big urban growth, especially in Texas and Florida. I mean, holy crap. But I mean, you take a look at how fast like cities like Dallas and Houston and San Antonio and those areas like that, Austin, how fast those cities are growing and what they're doing and the amount of equipment that's going into that area. And because the amount of construction, infrastructure growth, those kind of things, there's got to be just a flood of stuff coming in and out of there. I would guess constantly, just a flow of stuff constantly.
Yeah. The amount of construction equipment that goes to Texas is, I mean, I'm sure there's other states too, but like for us, it's like Texas is where the majority of it goes.
Right.
Yep.
It
goes back to being able to work, 12 months out of the year. Like up here in Minnesota, you ain't getting any road construction done in the winter time or
right. Yeah.
Or anything like that.
Yeah. A little tough to do lay asphalt and when it's snowing outside or 40 below when it's right. When you're looking at go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, how about on your side? I mean, interest rates are high, equipment prices are high. I mean, you get a barely used X9 combine, they're $700,000-$800,000. I mean, how many people can afford that?
We're going to find out. I don't know.
We're going to find out soon.
Yeah, we're going to find out. No, I think, as you're taking a look at what's going on with the price of equipment, it's the good, I guess the silver lining, if there is one in the situation, is that everything is that way, whether it's you're talking combines or trucks, wheel loaders or, cranes. I mean, everything has just been so expensive and there's such a run up in what we've seen in price. It's going to be interesting to see how some of that one-off stuff, like you start looking at some of these class 10 and 11 combines, whether you're looking at the Claas or the Deere New Hollands or whoever it is that you're looking at. It's going to be interesting to watch what happens with those, and just where those go. There's because the thing about that is, and I think this, you have to be careful about this everywhere you're at, but when you're looking at something that's so different than everything else around it, that used X9 combine or that used class 10 combine or something like that have a couple $100 on them, they're probably as expensive, if not a little more expensive than what you see with like a new 780 with a head. You know what I mean? So you start factoring all that stuff into play, and what's that look like, and interest rates and those kind of things come into play. But I'd say one thing that I will say is that how we move forward with that, and then the same thing on the trucking side of that. I mean, with the price of trucks where they are, and the financing side of those kind of things. It's just how you're looking at structuring the notes and what your plan is. What's your long-term plan with the piece of equipment that you got? I mean, is this something you're going to keep till the wheels fall off and then you're done? Or are you going to keep this for a couple of years and trade it in or whatever it is? So it's just all in how you have it structured and what it looks like, and trying to play that game of, how am I going to manage my equity and those kind of things. So I think that's the key to a lot of this stuff. But again, you got to find someone that wants to buy because it's not just like going out and buying another 780 combine or, whatever, you gotta, if you go jump up to that class 10 or class 11 combine, it's not just the combine you got to buy. You got to buy bigger grain carts, more trucks. Your whole support thing just now amplifies that. And I think that's the big thing with that. And those customers that are looking at that have multiple machines already, and they're trying to go to one because of, the same thing that everybody else is. But I'll be honest with you, when I look at it, I don't know that if you have 2 combines, for example, 3 combines or something like that, and you're having a hard time finding people to drive your combine, and you go down to one X9 or one, Kloss, whatever the other brand is that you want to look at. I don't know that you're really alleviating the labor issue that you think you're alleviating, because you have on the backside, you have more support equipment that you have to come up with. So if you already have that,
one combine as you are 2 combines, so then you got the maintenance factor. And
so I mean, now if you already have that infrastructure in place and you've got all the people in it, it's a great idea. But if you don't have that infrastructure in place, you need to have a long look at what you're doing, because it may be better for you just to go back to one, whatever that you're running now, instead of 2, if you're having labor issues. But that's a farm by farm deal, and you know how that works. I mean, you can jump back.
Luckily, I'm small enough we don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah,
we got our 9500 combine, and it keeps running.
There you go. It's a good combine. When you're looking around at some of the different things that are popping up right now, I guess looking into the future, what are some of the things that you're looking at saying, hey man, this could be some trouble coming down the road here, or what's I guess some of the positive things you see happening right now?
Positive, I guess we're not behind. So, I mean, we're keeping up with everything. Everybody's getting their stuff in a timely manner. But the downside is when people get slow is you got to be careful who you hire to haul your equipment. I mean, we were just visiting with customers last week. Went out and seen some people, and they're talking about how their phone's blowing up every day at all these different brokers and carriers you've never heard of before, calling them every single day wanting to haul their freight. But like we were just talking about, a X9 combine, $1 million. You can't just have anybody haul that thing. You got to make sure they got the right trailer, enough cargo insurance for one thing. Yeah. You don't want to. That'd be a bad loss if something were to happen like that. But definitely be careful on who you have hired to haul your equipment.
Yeah, I get those calls too, and the first thing I ask them, and talk to them a little bit about what it is, and kind of start sniffing around a little bit. And when they say, hey, I got some combines, or hey, I got a 4-wheel drive or something like that, and they ask you what's that look like, and how wide is it, how tall is it, and what kind of trailer do I need to have to haul that? Those are all the red flags in the world. When someone asks me what kind of trailer that I need to have to haul that, I'm like, I don't think you're probably the right person for me to lend this out to.
Like,
so
we got such a good group of guys here and gals that know exactly what you're talking about. If you call in and tell us you got whatever make, model combine you got, we know what you're talking about. I mean,
yeah,
they can be different, but I mean, the majority of the time they're all pretty similar. But you know, depending on what they got for tires and different things like that, depends on how wide they're going to be. But
yeah,
you definitely want somebody that knows what they're doing hauling your stuff.
yeah. Pete's never asked me how what kind of trailer I need to have to pull my combine. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, you just know.
Yeah, I don't think I should have to know that. Yeah, I don't. I kind of feel like that's a question I shouldn't have to know when it comes to trucking. So I just need to know where it needs to go.
Yeah, we rarely use hot shots unless it's something simple because they specialize in simple things. I'll send a hot shot to grab the duals off of a combine or something, because it's too heavy. You have to ship them separate. And I can't put this combine on my trailer. No, buddy. You're just getting the tires. I wouldn't try putting a combine on your hot shot.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny what you're running across, isn't it?
Oh yeah, hear a lot of funny things.
Yeah. All right. So last thought there, before we shut things down, I guess as you're taking a look at going into the end of this year, so on and so forth, what advice do you have for folks that are looking at freight, maybe something after like post-harvest or pre-harvest, I'm sorry, getting stuff moved around from place to place on some equipment that may be coming in late?
Yeah, definitely. If you're looking and you want some prices, give me a call before you pull the trigger. The freight price always, got to factor that into your total cost and how aggressive you want to be on buying that piece of equipment, whether it's a combine or new heads or whatever. But definitely, the earlier the better if you can get the deal done. It always sucks when, harvest is, people are going to be combining corn next week and somebody just started looking for a combine and they want it tomorrow. Things don't always line, perfectly. I mean, every once in a while you get something like that where we can get it on the truck the next day or whatever, but it's always best to, plan ahead.
Yep, for sure. All right, Parker, good stuff. If folks want to reach out to you, get more information about what you're doing over at Valley Transportation or just to book some freight, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, give me a call at 800-657-4910 or shoot me an email at pjohnson@valleytransinc.com.
Right on. Got the Moving Iron Summit coming up here. Parker and Brad and the rest of the gang are going to be there at their booth. So if you're going to check those guys out while you're there, man, I'll tell you what, they're one of the best trucking companies out there that I work with. And that's why they're on the Moving Iron podcast. So Parker, appreciate you being on and we'll look forward to seeing you guys in Nashville.
All right. Thanks a lot, Casey. Can't wait.
Right on. I'm Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. Go to LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast and check me out over on LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast. And then go check out the video version at the Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel. So go to Moving Iron LLC for everything Moving Iron related. And if you need more information about the Moving Iron Summit coming up here in Nashville, Tennessee, send me an email at movingironpodcast@movingironpodcast.com or just fill out all the information there online and you will get registered. Use that $50 discount from the folks over at Axon for your registration fee. And we look forward to seeing you guys in Nashville. So with that, I'm Casey Seymour with Parker Johnson. Smooth Smart, folks. Out.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here.